Welcome to the WTR Small-Cap Spotlight podcast. I'm your host, Tim Gerdeman, Vice Chair and Co-founder and Chief Marketing Officer of Water Tower Research. In today's podcast episode, I'm pleased to be joined by Stefano Valentini, Chairman of DroneVolt, Euronext Paris ticker symbol ALDRV. DroneVolt is an aeronautical manufacturer specializing in professional drones and artificial intelligence. DroneVolt has operations in France, Benelux, Canada, Denmark, the Netherlands, the United States, and Switzerland. As a global partner, DroneVolt offers its customers turnkey business solutions, including various services and drone pilot training. Also joining us is my WTR equity research colleague, John Roy. Good morning, gentlemen, and thank you for joining today's podcast.
Morning, pleasure.
Yeah, great to see you guys.
So I read a market research report with great interest this past week that suggested that the global drone market will grow to nearly $165 billion per year from the low $70 billion range today. So Stefano, with the drone industry growing exponentially on a global basis for several important end uses, I'm excited to welcome you to today's call. For those listeners who do not know DroneVolt's business and investment thesis, can you please provide a high-level overview of the company and its corporate strategy?
Sure. Let me frame DroneVolt the way the market is starting to see it. We're not just a drone selling company. We design, build, and sell machines. We define categories. We're aligned with regulations. We're regarded as a robotics platform producer. And obviously, our machines fly exceptionally well in execution of their missions. Now, we operate in mission-critical verticals: energy, utilities, industrial inspection, law enforcement, first responders, defense. In these verticals, compliance, reliability, data integrity are mandatory, especially in defense. We have built a multi-nation company. We are vertically integrated in Europe, where we have engineering and manufacturing, Canada with engineering and manufacturing, and we're now expanding in the US with the same philosophy. Paired with this, we deliver a drone as a service. This is very important to us, because a drone as a service not only opens doors to demonstrate to clients what we're able to do, but it also allows them to adopt our mission solutions without actually having to buy a fleet to begin with. They may wish to do that later. So the strategy is very clear. We're disruptive. We build industrial platforms. We align with regulation and procurement realities, and it is our priority to scale recurring services with hardware that we build.
Great. That's perfect. Now, I know North America is a primary growth focus for you guys. Can you elaborate on the US market a little bit, particularly the idea that I think you're going to go into some sort of local production for the KOBRA drone? And I know this is going to address the quote made in the US requirements.
Well, the market just got structurally reset, not just in the US, but in Europe as well. In the US, we know that the administration has passed laws and regulations banning Chinese drones. In Europe, they passed a law to invest $800 billion in defense procurement. This means that Chinese origin drones are banned. Government and critical infrastructure procurement is under pressure. In fact, it's not possible to buy drones for that sort of mission. Cybersecurity and everything that relates to data is very much under pressure. And tariffs form a humongous barrier for anything that's not Western made. Now, demand didn't shrink because of this. This created a vacuum, and DroneVolt is a global player that intends to fill that vacuum. We are NDAA safe. We have an NDAA safe footprint, and we're bringing US production online to meet that surge. KOBRA is the first step to do this. Our KOBRA drone, which is one of the 4 platforms that we offer, is a machine that is artificial intelligence ready, and is able then to align itself with Blue UAS federal procurement standards, which means that this opens instantly all the doors for law enforcement, defense, critical infrastructure buyers who can't touch non-compliant systems. The US-built KOBRA removes all the friction in procurement and positions us as a trusted alternative to Chinese systems. And not just Chinese, there are other adversary countries. I guess that's the thick and thin of it.
Now, I know you have a particularly interesting use case in the LineDrone. Maybe you could give us some details on how that solves the problems in the energy sector and the power lines.
The LineDrone is our flagship proof of what we can do, what we're able to do. And if you are able to see this podcast, you can see behind me a few pictures of what the LineDrone is able to do. This is a top-of-the-line machine. It is the only machine in the world that can land on, roll along, and inspect energized high-voltage transmission lines. No shutdowns, no helicopters, no competitors. That's not a feature. That's a category lock, okay? We can land on 800,000 volt lines and inspect them without an invasive sensor. We're sectioning the sensor, and we provide live data to the ground crews so that they can act reliably on the data that they are receiving. This is what industrial clients want. They don't need pictures. They need decisions. They need data where they can make decisions on. And that's what the LineDrone does. It's built exactly for live line requirements. We can do it faster. We can do it cleaner in terms of environmental CO2 emissions. And we can do it with data that is live and immediately actionable. And the market is huge. There are over 600,000 miles of transmission lines in the US, and the Energy Department is quite worried that compliance has not been met in the last few years, and they require that the people who are transmitting energy throughout the US and North America be more reliable in this instant and in this sector.
Now, the LineDrone you have out there now is not the first iteration, is it? You had one out for a little while, or how long has it been in production?
We have 3 LineDrones. The first LineDrone was, it took us about 7 years to go through the iterations, the initial iterations. We did this in cooperation with Hydro-Quebec, which is one of the leading players in this industry. And this is one of the philosophies that DroneVolt has adhered to. We partner with the experts in each vertical market to bring the best solution to the client. The first LineDrone was able to go up to about over 300 kilovolts, 300,000 volts. The second DroneVolt LineDrone applies a sensor to the line, which is one of the things that is encouraged, not really mandated by the federal authorities for the moment. It may very well become a mandate. The third LineDrone is able to do these inspections over 800,000 volts. That is unheard of. These lines are live. They create a huge amount of electromagnetic interference for the navigation, for the GPS, and we've gone through all of that, and you can see it in, I'm sorry for those who are just listening and not viewing this podcast. You can see it in the background pictures of all the energy being absorbed and expunged by the drone so that it can execute its mission. It's an absolutely fantastic technological solution.
Excellent. Now, one of the things you talked about earlier was basically drone as a service kind of approach. Can you give us some more color on that? And are customers really embracing that, or is that kind of, well, we have it, but no one uses it sort of thing?
Drone as a service was something that we chose to do because initially drones were very much something that was an alien kind of solution to many clients. So we chose to demonstrate what a drone can actually do for them. And by demonstrating what it could actually do, a client said, well, why don't you just do the mission for us, basically? And so we executed missions, we produced the data, and we sold both to them. And as happens in these cases, once you prove something, then they say, okay, well, we can save money by doing it ourselves. And we said, absolutely, no problem. We'll train your pilots. And the first client was the French energy distributor, and we trained their pilots, over 500 pilots. We actually trained 500 French energy distributor pilots. They are now fully trained, and this is part of the drone as a service solution. We don't train pilots on how to fly a drone initially. What we do is we train your pilots on how to fly in each vertical market. So if you're in the military, we'll train you in that. If you're in the energy distribution, we'll train you for that. If you need to do LiDAR, we'll train you on how to do that. This is drone as a service. We'll either do it ourselves because you don't want to do it yourself, you don't have the financial wherewithal to do it, or we will train your pilots to do it, and then you can adopt a fleet and do it yourselves. This is fantastic because drone as a service is a scalable industry. You have a fleet. The more you use it, the more margin you make.
Now, that sounds like a very good offering to get people, kind of, I don't want to say dip their toe in the water, but to kind of get going with it.
Exactly.
Now, the U.S. regulatory landscape, particularly for, beyond visual line of sight, is still seeing a lot of changes. How are you guys navigating the FAA regulations and safety standards to really hit the U.S. market running?
We treat regulation as a competitive advantage because this has been an issue since the beginning, not defining the airspace in the same way that other aeronautical industries utilize the airspace is more of a hindrance than an advantage. You need to give us the parameters and the limits so that we can design the technology to operate within them. The US and Europe has done that. Beyond visual line of sight is just one of the aspects. Once that has been defined, we're able to make redundancy. We're able to bake redundancy into the systems, secure systems, operational documentation, pilot training standards, all of the things that have been used in other aeronautical sectors. So for us, it's not a hindrance. It's fantastic. It's exactly what we needed. we have been operating in Europe and in the US on waivers. You know, can you please give us an exception to this? Can you please give us an exception to that? Now we have the regs, and we can design these. We can bake these into the engineering. That is so important. It is absolutely essential that the people that I hire that work for me understand what those limits are. And the LineDrone, for example, is one of the solutions that has come out of it, but all the other drones as well, the KOBRA, the Hydra, all the other drones that we produce fit into the FAA regulations, and not just that agency, also all the other agencies that mandate the procurement logistics change for all the equipment that goes, all the hardware and software that goes into the drones.
That's great. So maybe one final question for me. What is really the next step for you in the US, and why push into it now?
The US is happening now because of a convergence between capability and timing. The rules and regulations mandated by the administration coincide with what we would like to do in the US. We need absolutely to move away from pilot programs with the different agencies and utilities. They've been sticking to pilot programs because they don't understand the legal framework. These people work in legal frameworks. Those have been defined. We can offer them a product that works in those legal frameworks. And then the shift away from Chinese drones not only is accelerating, but it's moving at a speed that is incredible. Bans, tariffs, they created a real procurement vacuum. We need to fill that. We are filling that. Our drones from KOBRA to the Hercules to the LineDrone fills that vacuum. We are able to offer something that is made in the USA. It is reliable. It is repeatable. And it offers something that US utilities and end users can actually adopt with confidence. And obviously, when they pick up the phone, it's an American answering the call.
Great. Thanks so much, Stefano. Tim, over to you.
Thank you for joining us today, Stefano Valentini, Chairman of DroneVolt, Euronext Paris, ticker symbol ALDRV, and thanks to my equity research colleague, John Roy, for joining as well.
My pleasure.
Thank you for listening, and don't forget to subscribe, as well as visiting www.watertowerresearch.com to stay up to speed on the company's small cap written research reports, podcasts, fireside chats, industry-specific symposiums, and conference schedules. We will see you next time for another edition of the WTR Small-Cap Spotlight podcast. Finally, a special thanks to the producer and editor of the podcast, Krista Fitzpatrick.